three. All right, welcome to another edition of Convention Tea. This is our first episode of Convention Tea in 2023.
Boo!
Today we will be talking about Anime Los Angeles 18. That is Anime Los Angeles number 18. They kind of have a funky kind of way of numbering things here. So, yeah, Anime Los Angeles 18,
I've,
number
no-
18.
I've noticed that with cons, where some do this is the number of times we've done it, and some do the year of. The problem is, at a certain point it'll get really confusing when they're at like 23, but we'll be at like 2025. Just be like, wait, what? No, it's 25, not 23.
Yeah, a lot of hashtags for Anime Los Angeles is hashtag ALA18, hashtag Anime Los Angeles 18. And plus, of course, people are going to still say Anime Los Angeles 2023. But yeah, our first convention tea of the year. And with us on the show is our pal, Rams.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? You may have heard me on other podcasts such as the Seiya Cosmocast or the Saturday Morning Squadron, but I am here to talk conventions with my good friends Scarlett and Jay.
All right, let's just get right into our tea. Well, Jay here is sipping a spearminty tea. I'm here sipping on a Kyoto rose green tea that I picked up over at Dragon Marsh at, I believe, yeah, they were also at Anime Los Angeles, but they were also at LA Comic Con. Good stuff they got. All right, let's go into our slides because, yeah, we are the convention auntie and uncle of the convention family that likes to share their vacation slides. All right. All right, Scarlet Rhapsody. If this is your first time tuning into an episode of Convention Tea, Scarlet Rhapsody was founded in my dorm room in university where I was just like, you know what, I want to make a cool website where I'm like talking about my anime convention adventures. I know all this HTML that I learned. I used to run a Sailor Moon website, but there was way too many Sailor Moon websites and way too many Sailor Moon trolls in Alita. So, you know what, let me do something different. I'm going to make a website that talks about my convention experiences. I'm going to like showcase cosplay photos, talk about my adventures, being a teen, being a young university student, going to all these different conventions, Anime Expo, Fanime, the local JTAF, the local AOD, and thus Scarlet Rhapsody was born in my dorm room in university in Northern California. So we got some Northern California roots here. Joining us on our team is we got Jay the Greek.
Hey everyone, been going to conventions since the 90s because the 90s were awesome times to go to Baimon sci-fi cons. And that's back in the day when your anime section of a convention would be that table in the back that everyone was like, oh, that's those weird Japanese cartoons. I hear they got naked cartoon anime girls with animal ears. Spoilers, they do. It's awesome.
And also with us on the show is Rams. Rams, tell us about your I'm at Comic Con days.
Oh wow, I used to go to Comic Con every year, like since 1996. But the size of the convention has exploded to the point where it's just like it's unattainable for me to go there, or it's just like it's way too exhausting for me for this old man at this point. But yeah, I've been going to conventions since 1996. My very first Anime Expo was Anime Expo 2000. So that was my very first taste of like an anime exclusive not podcast, an anime exclusive convention. And I've been going off and on to conventions ever since. Helping you guys or going on my own. But regardless, I'm there I do everything. I met so many celebrities. I've met so many people in the industry. I've done so many things. I've gotten so many things at conventions. It's like I can one of these days I would just like sit down and like just show you the photos and just show you I can tell you stories about some of the people I've met and stuff like that. Like there was a time where I got grilled by Sam Remy.
Oh, we definitely would like to have you again for like another one of our convention horror stories roundtables.
It's a horror story. It's more like good days, the day.
We should do an episode of the Roundtable, but it's all just celebrity experiences because I would love to tell the Chris Claremont story.
Oh God.
Okay.
I love salty old man Claremont.
All right, moving forward. Anime Los Angeles 18. Anime Los Angeles 18 had about 16,000 attendees, and it was taking place again another year at the Long Beach Convention Center. Now, if you remember, there's a lot of his convention veterans that kind of have some trauma with the Long Beach Convention Center being the home of AX01, AX02, AX07. It's like,
The worst of the three.
anime conventions plus Long Beach. No. But I just also wanted to let you know that AX 2001, it had much less than what was at Anime Los Angeles 18. Oh 01
Are you
had,
kidding me?
yeah, no,
Seriously?
yeah, yeah, AX01 had like I think like 10,000 ish, and it didn't really explode until like '02, and then
I
and then
remember
we
02,
hear
because 02 is
'02 exploded.
where we said, if this is in Long Beach next year, we're not going. That was literally what me and all my friends said, because it was just so crowded and such a mess.
So if you like talk to like any convention veteran, there was like this collective trauma of anime convention plus Long Beach equals eh. However, Jay and I, we've attended a couple events at the Long Beach Convention Center that are nerdy related. Long Beach Comic Con, Long Beach Comic Expo, which tend to be smaller, but it gave us like because we've been doing Long Beach Comic Con, Comic Expo for a couple of years already. We pretty much know how to navigate our way through the convention center.
I would make a joke about me being able to do it blindfolded, but I mean, literally, I could do that. I could get my cane and pull it off.
And you did have your cane this time.
I did. I just didn't bring it to the convention center, even though that really screwed me over when I was on days where I was stuck being there for later, because finding my way out was not fun.
Yeah, Anime Los Angeles 18 also had like the beach episode theme where like a lot of the promotional material, a lot of the marketing material had mascot Alachan just on a surfboard. And like all I could think was like skeet surfing from Top Secret. And also like a lot of and it was like, yeah, like just get ready to catch a wave over at ALA 18. And they're like, oh, it's like super rainy on day one and day two. Day zero and day one.
Which means it probably would have been decent days for wave height.
Yeah, I mean, you can
'Cause I
still
had
shoot the
friends
curled
who-
in rain.
I had friends who ditched school when the waves would get high enough. So, rain or shine.
All right. So, a couple of our responsibilities at Anime Los Angeles. So, in addition to being staff for the formal ball, we also had panels we ran. So, what are you doing Friday night? What did we do Friday night?
I don't even remember at this point.
All right, it's actually right here. I actually have like our marketing promotional.
I ran 2 panels. I ended up running the Make Mine Mecha, which is still one of my favorite panels to run. I am going to update it. I've been getting bombarded with Aura Battler Dumbine and a few other series that people want me to talk about. So I'm going to make changes. It's going to happen because I want that panel to ever evolve. And then had first time I actually got to do the Gumball panel with Rams, which was pretty awesome because we had very different points of view on certain types of kits, and I think that made it more interesting than everyone just agreeing with me, because not everyone's going to like the same types of kits or have the same experiences, because there's experiences of things that I had that were just miserable for me that were good for him, and vice versa. So I thought that made the panel a lot more interesting than it originally. I'm not saying it's a bad panel. The panel is an awesome panel for beginners, and I highly recommend it. That being said, being able to talk with another model builder was really awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see
and
both you and Rams do it
I
again
love
at Comic
doing
Con.
both. So sorry.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say I had fun doing both of those panels. I like you enlightened me on a lot of things, especially that part where about Kawamori just like we make this robot that transforms. Can we have a TV show based on this? Like, I did not know that. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Yeah, spoiler for anyone who's a big Macross fan, the toys came first. He built a
I'm pretty sure
garage
Kawamori-
kit.
Yeah, like
Built a garage kit
Yeah,
and sold the show on a garage kit.
and then but like I said, but going back to the Gunpla panel, I really liked it because like I try to make it, I try to frame it in such a way where it's something for veterans. I mean, it's something for newcomers, but it's also something that we can pass down to veterans as well, so they can at least they can give something to the new people as well. And we discussed like everything. Like we even discussed about that time when I got that really, really, really bad Macross kit.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which,
Also, a panel wanted to kind of go to called I think it was called what, Gumpla and Chill or something like that.
Oh, I do cover that.
Okay, you got it covered?
We'll talk
All right.
about that in a
Okay,
few.
then we'll save that for later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I ran the shopping in the LA Fabric District panel on Friday evening, and that was really cool to run because it also gave me with one of the best questions I ever got at the end of the panel. So for some context, anytime I introduce myself, I always mention like, yeah, my first anime convention was Animagic 2000 in Lancaster, California. First question I get in the Q&A session, wait, there are cons in Lancaster? Oh, dear child, let me tell you about Lancaster. Let me tell you about Animagic and the debauchery that we had in the pool. Like, Matt Mercer was there. It was very gay.
I like to think of it, it's like, if you think the debauchery at the last anime not anime at the anime LA where the homestuck people like painted the hot tub gray, you haven't heard anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh lovely. Oh summer child.
My experience is people just doing certain things in public because we're all drunk college kids. Was definitely an experience.
All right, let's go move forward. All right, we want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Mirror Soul. We love Mirror Soul. They did our avatars here on the live stream. You can see me in my dress a friend of mine designed. And you can also see Rams here in his Saint Seiya outfit, inspired by the viral I'm at Comic-Con video that was featured on G4 and the upcoming G4 documentary, Attack of the Doc. And Jared's just wearing a bowling shirt.
Okay, real talk. I have things on. I had it on pause. I had the screen on pause. I just saw it right now. I'm about to cry.
That was her big surprise. By the way, the
secret
thing.
I am like really, 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 really like. Anyways, let's keep going.
But we love Mirror Soul, and if you want something commissioned, an avatar, a background, we highly recommend employing their services. I'm a huge fan of them, and we will definitely be commissioning from them again. And they're kind of been like our unofficial artists for all the things. So definitely hire them. They're totally affordable. Support artists in a world where AI is taking over. Yeah. All right, let's talk Anime Los Angeles. So again, here's ourselves. There's Jay, looking dapper as ever as Forger, Lloyd Forger. And there's me as cosplaying as Setsuna Yuki. And there's Rams buying all the gunpla. So just kind of gives you like this routine that's covering.
That's a Ramsey's mood right there.
Yeah. So let's see what else is here. So let's just talk about just some of the popular fandoms that were present at ALA 18. So I was quite surprised to see like a lot of Tokyo Mew Mew cosplayers. Well, I shouldn't say surprised because High Dive is now streaming the new Tokyo Mew Mew, but it's really cool just seeing like a lot of like Tokyo Mew Mew cosplayers just totally come out and like, oh my god, like I wish I had like the maid outfit for Zakuro or Mint. Mint was my favorite when I was watching the show, but like it was just sparked joy to see Tokyo Mew Mew cosplayers. Of course, Spy X Family. I wanted to highlight something unique here. I wanted to highlight a unique cosplay that you really don't see a lot from Spy X Family, and that's Lloyd in his dad sweater, and you're in like the pink sweater, pink trench dress kind of outfit. So like I just had to get a photo of this couple here doing like the heart thing. And then also, of course, Genshin. Genshin is going to be evergreen. I was one of those Genshin cosplayers, and I will talk about my Genshin cosplay story when we get to our next sponsors. Old school fandoms. I was also very happy to see like a couple. Oh wait, I need to change that photo because Pennywise should not be in here. So I was also happy to see some old school fandoms present. So you have like Perfect Blue here. I was like, oh hey, I saw not one but two Mimas, and we also have Camille from Zeta Gundam. Oh yeah, I think I meant to delete that slide and just focus on like, did you know that like on a single day at ALA we had not one but 4 Zeta Gundam cosplayers. So this is Jared's photo here from when he was costuming as Bright. I realized, oh snap, I didn't take a picture of him costuming as Bright, and we were at Islands and he was having a burger costuming as Bright. Like, missed opportunity. But I just find it funny that we had like 4 Zeta Gundam cosplayers in one day, and this was totally uncoordinated. But you know what? Next year, we're totally making a Gundam cosplay gathering happen.
Yep. Even if I have to yell at everyone in a military voice, I can do it.
All right, I probably have to get like a double O cosplay done or something by then.
I put up my list of characters I'm currently interested in.
If you go as Gato and I go as Seema, I just want to just rock that leopard like cape thing she has.
Oh, I could yell at everyone as Gato, I assure you. That could be fun.
Hi, this gathering is brought to you by Xeon. All right,
Long Beach,
let's go
I
to.
have now returned.
All right, let's talk about one of our other sponsors, that we like to give a shout out to. Rams, this is your show. Tell us about the Saint Seiya of Cosmocast.
Oh, wow, you're using the new logo. Okay. Yeah, so this is a Saint Seiya Cosmocast. I host as a Saint Seiya podcast dedicated to the world of Saint Seiya. We are the very first English-speaking podcast based on Saint Seiya. We every 2 weeks we discuss a couple of the series. So right now we're currently on the original series, but there's new episodes of the CGI series. We tend to go back to that as well. And we discuss everything that's going on in the world of Saint Seiya. We're discussing a lot about the live-action TV show. I mean, the live-action movie. We're discussing the new releases that are coming out from Japan. So those the new spin-offs are coming out. We're also paying close attention to stuff like Next Dimension, which is like the sequel series to Saint Seiya, and all this other stuff as well. So if you have any interest in the podcast, please go to my website http://www.stcosmocast.com. Again, the address is stcosmocast.com.
Or link in bio, or link in description. All right, let's get to the con. So, all right, let's talk about day one.
This was a surprisingly busy day. That's what I'm going to say. Even day one had a lot of stuff going on.
Well, day one, we were checking into our hotel room, and I think we just kind of all wanted to just recharge, before the things started, and just kind of just get our energy saved up, because the ballroom dance was later in the evening. So day one, I usually just kind of wander around the convention area, and day one was also fairly light too. You and I were just kind of just running around in just regular casual clothes for most of day one. And in this photo here, we were just kind of just wandering around the dealer's hall, and you pointed out to a Bond plush, which sold out within 2 hours.
Yeah, because when we came back before preparing for the dance and I was dressed like Lloyd, it was already gone. So.
Yeah, I remember going to that booth, and they had a lot of not only they have a lot of stuff for Spy Family, but they also had stuff for Chainsaw Man, and equally both of that stuff for if it had Puchita on it, it would be sold out, or if they had Power on it, they'd sold out as well. And yeah, I mean, I was there too, and I was just checking out everything, because it was what? It's you guys informed me, it was the last time I went with you guys to anime LA was 2013, and I almost crumbled into dust if Styles had snapped me out of existence. So when you said that, I was okay, I gotta get my bearings here. And the size of the convention really threw me off. I was wow, this is a huge convention center, but it was interesting, because for someone that that last convention they went to before this was WonderCon 2019. In the before days, the days before the pandemic, we that's the last thing I did. But going back to it, going to convention post-pandemic, in a post-pandemic, I want to say post-pandemic world, but in a world that we're trying to get ourselves adjusted with the virus.
It's endemic, by the way. The term is endemic.
Or post-lockdown.
Or post-lockdown.
Yeah, post-lockdown. That's a better term. But yeah, we it's such a weird thing. But I was expecting with this many people and how wide it is, that you would be it would be claustrophobia, but it was kind of wide open in a lot of places. I can walk around. I walked around freely for the most part, all 4 days.
All right. Other stuff from day one. Here you have we stopped by to take a look at dance lessons. So here our buddy Thomas from the formal dance staff, teaching some folks just how to dance. And then on Thursday, the whole seaside ballroom area was just pretty much dedicated to hey, want to learn a fancy dance? Come right in. Although, like, I was watching this movie called RRR the other day, and there's like this, no spoilers, but there is a dance sequence, like, towards like the beginning ish of the movie that's gone viral on TikTok. I'm like, okay, I just want to just see like our ballroom dance staff just kind of like just break out into like that song on the dance floor. But that's
Bollywood
just
dancing.
me. Technically, it's Tollywood. I'm learning a
Okay,
lot of new terminology, but it's an amazing song. Look
thank
up
you.
Nacho Nacho. It's like one of my like obsessions right of the moment, like a tabaxi. All right, so day one was
Okay.
like not as crowded. It was actually I don't want to say empty, but it was busy, but it still had like it was really easy to just kind of free flow, just kind of like not feel so crowded. It was really easy to just hang out with people and just kind of like just take the day easy. He also had Okamoto Kitchen here, so also in the Seaside Ballroom area. We'll get to our issues with Seaside Ballroom towards the end.
Mhm.
You had Okamoto Kitchen just situated like outside of Seaside Ballroom before they moved over to closer to the arena. And also, Seaside Ballroom was home of the swap meet. I didn't really have a chance to check out the swap
I
meet.
I meant to because it was happening the same time as the dance, and during my break, I was like, and during my break, I'm gonna go to the swap meet and just see what's going on. And instead, I sat on a bench and drank a bottle of water.
Rams, but you did check out the swap meet. Tell us about your experience.
I didn't go.
So we all
I
missed it.
I was planning to. I was planning to, but I was like, you know what? I am tired. I was exhausted. I was exhausted from everything that we did before that. Like, you know, getting like everything leading up to it, and also the day before where I was doing other stuff as well with my family. I was like, you know, I'm gonna call it early here. So I am so sorry.
No worries. I took a neat photo of the swap meet, and
But
unfortunately,
here's the thing: I wished I did. I wished I did. I wished I did. I wished I did.
okay, but unfortunately, like the swap meet was happening like during the time after the dealer's hall was closed. It was really hard for people to get to the Seaside Ballroom area because it's literally the basement of the Long Beach Performing Arts Center, the Long Beach Terrace Theater, where Last Action Hero was filmed. All right, let's talk about the formal ball. So formal ball was like just our main commitment on day one. Even though like yeah, like we also helped around day zero, just helping setting things up, and we got Penny Docs in the chat, who is like one of our fellow staff folks, and also, it was a lot of fun. I usually do the cosplay contest. I coordinate the cosplay contest, and then Jay is our lovely MC who is cosplaying as Lloyd Forger.
Yeah, and a unnecessary, an extra dapper version, as I think is what I kept calling it.
And like, yeah, I really like seeing a lot of people's costumes. I really like this group. I'm not sure what they're from, but I just love the colors and like just like the colors and just kind of like the way everything just kind of like blended all in together. It's like I'm not sure what you're from, but I just like the vibe of these
There
outfits.
were a lot of really good costumes this year of people on the dance floor and what have you, and I do appreciate that it wasn't just the same, you know, 3 or 4 formal variants we've seen before, and I do really like that. It's a lot of fun being the MC, just being able to announce stuff. It gets a little stressful when you're getting 700 messages. You got to make sure you say every single one into a mic, but that's kind of part of the job. And making sure the DJ stops the music so I can actually tell people stuff is also helpful too. Uh, yeah, I think everyone had a good time. That's kind of what I noticed. They're good, happy vibes. We never got anyone coming up saying like, "Oh, the Vegeta cosplayers being a perv or something." Like we didn't get anything like that. So I think it was a generally positive experience for everybody.
And what I like about this dance is you can also have stickers indicating whether or not you want to be asked if you're okay for a dance or like, no, thank you.
And we ran out, which is kind of crazy. Like we had that many people.
And I just want to just highlight just some of the cosplays that I saw that I thought were really cool. Like you had Princess Boo here, and then you also had like two folks cosplaying from Star Trek, and then you also had Lady Gaston here. And also we had got Penny Docs in the chat saying the stickers really help with making boundaries for people. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that too. It's like a not so aggro way of like enforcing boundaries. I like that. You also had Fern from Critical Role. I'm not quite sure who this person in the middle is, but I really like the how their outfit. I just love the use of fabric. I just like the use of different textures in their outfit, and I just thought that was worthy noting. And we also had a Bridgerton
I
cosplayer
believe
here.
that's I believe that's Juvia from
Fairy Tale.
Fairy Tale.
Yeah, Juvia Fairy Tale. Like I just like how like just the textures and just like how everything just like flows like water. And I just love the Daphne Bridgerton here. It's like, yes, I was hoping to see someone from costuming from Bridgerton at this because I kind of like was basing my HMS Queen Elizabeth persona, just kind of like a mix of the Queen from Bridgerton and the actual HMS Elizabeth in Azure Lane. It's like, yes, this is my party and you're all invited.
She's got to throw shade at Deutschland and some of her friends.
Oh, those Germans. Those iron blood bastards.
Actual thing in the game, folks. I'm not making it up. At the party, she just that the Germans and the British just throw parties just to throw shade at each other.
It's World War II. We endured some bombing from the Germans. I think I have a right to throw shade. Also at the Twilight Gala, just a couple other costume highlights here. I really like this miraculous ladybug pairing here. So I just also like just showing different ideas, like what is formal cosplay, what are some formal interpretations of different types of cosplay, and so forth, and just different ways to express yourself on the dance floor. And because like I remember when we were helping out with Anime Vegas like years ago, this is years before we were helping out California Cosplay Gala, a lot of young people were asking like, what do I dress up as? What's formal cosplay? Like, so sometimes having a visual really helps. So like, hey, I hope this gives you some ideas like what's some formal cosplay to bring. It's like cosplay prom. It's like
That's
prom but fun.
Yeah. I've never done. I've been wanting to be like I want to do something dapper, but like all my characters that I have are not really in that type. But
you have a tuxedo mask.
You can't think of anything. Just improvise. If it looks like something that would match, then go for it.
I mean, just wear what you would like wear at a wedding or a funeral.
And then your character wig or mask or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to highlight these were like the award winners, and we just had like an award winner circle photo here. Yeah, there's me like just acting like Queen Elizabeth in the background.
God, I want to see a My Hero Academia prom group. So
bad. We need to have like a UA winter formal, and it has to be, and like you have to have like the teacher characters like just as like the chaperones, just kind of like just sitting in the back, like yeah, once it's over. All right, that just settles it with day one. We were mainly just focused in on just making sure that the formal ball was amazing, and it looks like it was an amazing event. We had like almost like a couple hundred people at any given time on the dance floor, and it was still pretty poppin' for like a day one event, because I did mention earlier like morning, afternoon, day one, fairly light. Opening ceremonies actually didn't start till like 5:00. But you still had like just people just coming in for the ballroom dance later in the evening, and that was a lot of fun.
I'm just glad they found the location.
Yeah, let's see. Also, Petty Docs in the chat says, we ran out of ribbons, stickers, and water. That shows you how popular that event was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we'll definitely just tell y'all more about California Cosplay Gala and our sponsors. But first, a word from our sponsor, Multitasky.com. Multitasky.com has office supplies. I know it's weird for a convention podcast to be talking about office supplies, but I want to highlight their light ring. This light ring is what I've been using to record TikTok videos at cons, to take self-solo photo shoots at conventions. Like, okay, it's 11 o'clock in the evening. There's no one at my hotel right now, or it's 7 a.m. in the morning. There's no one at my hotel right now. I don't want to bother any of my friends this late or evening. You know what? I'm just going to get dressed and just kind of just do a self-shoot here. So, if you're interested in just getting perhaps one of the best light rings on the market right now, use my code CadillacCats for 10% off your entire purchase at multitasky.com. Friday! All right, let's talk about Friday, or Friday, day 2. So just a couple of some cosplay highlights I was able to check out. You had your boy Kong Ming. You also had Elizabeth Thorry in her idol outfit, and I'm just admiring the details. I'm like, oh man, like this is like one of my dream cosplays when I was like super into Fate like years ago. So we had like idol Elizabeth Bathory.
Did the hat too.
Yeah, cool hat. And I'm assuming that this is an initial
cool
decosplayer, like on the far right hand side, and he's wearing the car like over his face. Also, day two. I want to for day two. We actually stumbled upon the Genshin Impact voice actor panel. I was cosplaying as Beidou, so I took the front seat because I wanted to just kind of like bide my time, before my cosplay photo shoot, like um at 12 noon. So let's talk about the Genshin Impact voice acting panel. I had a lot of fun.
I stayed there until they got into like meme stuff. We were kind of biding our time before D&D, so we were there and like, okay, it's cool hearing the voice actors kind of talk about their experiences in the booth and what have you. And it seems like everyone had a lot of fun in the booth, especially the Paimon lady. She seems to have a lot of stories, which I guess makes sense because Paimon has like probably the most dialogue in the entire game, easily the most dialogue in the entire game, and so obviously you're gonna have some fun stories that come out of that.
Yeah, I love it when they were like sharing their stories on just being behind a booth. Like, oh my god, this character is it's like why do we, it was like they're behind the scenes sort of like I just want Paimon to die.
Yeah, I was to say I think one of them quoted it's like Paiwan's meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are talking about the emergency rations.
Right.
The option everyone chooses.
Paimon is emergency rations.
Emergency rations.
I mean, I still want to bring my cauldron popcorn bucket from Disney and just put like a Paimon plush in there, but I haven't found the right Paimon plush.
Stop.
But we were also talking, the person who was also running the panel, they were also talking about, like, okay, who is, like, the most popular, like, characters according to Wikipedia, to which Jay reacted with...
Well, my thing was just, like, it better be Raiden Shogun. And as it turns out, it's Raiden Shogun, who is easily my high-tier waifus, because if anyone looks at the character and sees how she draws her sword, you will fully understand. I have a type.
Yeah, so the voice actors that were present was the voice actor for Paimon, Garo, name is escaping my brain right now. Yeah, brain fart. Raiden Shogun and Kiching. And I just thought these people were just having just fun up there, just answering questions. I had to beat it once they had to do Q&A because I had to make it up to my photo shoot, and I do have a story behind that. But they were just talking like a lot behind the scenes, was like behind the booth, and they were like wishing like there was this one person in the audience who had a birthday, and they were wishing the person in the audience happy birthday in the character voices or what they could legally and contractually say. With their character voices, because I didn't know this. Apparently now there's like a contract agreement for voice actors. Like, if you are given a request, you can only say what the character says, or you can get in trouble. So you can't do like, oh, Kaching, can you if I propose to you, blah 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 blah. You can't have them react or like make a request that is off character, if that makes any sense.
I think that's a good idea to protect a brand. I'm sure that's not with everything, but that would make sense to try to protect the Genshin Impact brand. There's far too many videos of voice actors saying humiliating things because the fans want them to. And some of the voice actors have a good laugh with it too, but what I mean is if I was running a series, I would want my actors to, take their role a bit more seriously.
Or at least take the material, or at least respect the material, at least somewhat.
All right. Anything else from the Genshin panel?
Go
on.
I was going to say, I think that's kind of about it. It was interesting hearing them talk about how it's like, I just want my character to get a cool story mission, and I don't have a cool story mission yet. And I thought that was interesting, because it's interesting hearing the actors, because they do play the game, if they may not be as far as, the hardcore players, but they're picking away through the game, especially to try to get to their characters' parts and what have you. Which I think is kind of cool that they're actually into the game, but then that whole moment of like, when's my special story come up? When is my side quest? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess as an actor, you'd really want to have your character get a spotlight every once in a while.
Yeah, and the voice actor for Raiden Shogun, and Yatko, also streams Genshin on their Twitch channel. I've never actually attended their Twitch streams, but I do follow them, and I know they're really super involved in the fandom. And the same thing for the voice actors for voice actress for Shellgirl, the brainworm right now. I just can't think of the name. Under the Sea. Anywho, and I ran into them at PMX last year, and they were like, "Hey, yeah, like yeah, like we should just kind of like just support each other on Twitch. Like, yeah, let's do that." And I feel bad because I haven't seen them stream, and I know they were expecting me to stream Genshin again on my channel, and I haven't had a chance to.
You've been distracted by a different game.
Yeah, I've been distracted by a different game. It's totally not called Final Fantasy 14, but I've been meaning to like just go back and stream Genshin again. All right, so do. Next slide. All right, let's talk about your D&D adventure. And while I have like this My Hero Academia cosplayers in the background, how did your D&D adventure go?
It went pretty well. It was a test play of the new 1D&D rules. So Rams created a brand new character. I'll let you talk about that in a moment. I'll just get through my side of it. I just took the first cleric I found because it's just easy to play a cleric. And our bard was a bit of a jokester, which led to some funny like table moments that will now go into my table stories that I tell. Now I guess I'll just tell the one real quick here. At a certain point, there was a little bit of a gorge, and there was like a portcullis into a fort. And so my character, being a bird lineage, it's like, okay, cool. I'm better at jumping. I'm good at falling with style, not actually flying. And I did it, and I got on the portcullis, and I checked it out. And that bard's like, "Is there any enemies?" I'm like, "No, there are no enemies." "Okay, cool." And immediately uses the teleport spell to get inside, and just flips the switch for the gate, which of course I'm holding on to, and I fall off of because, dude decided to flip the switch without allowing me to just climb up and over and be on the other side. So I fell with style, landed on a tree branch, and waited for the portcullis to go all the way up. But I was sitting there going, like, this whole time you could teleport.
At one point, I was trying to. At one point, I didn't know he had that. I know our bard had that. So I was like, "Okay, give me a dexterity save. Give me a dexterity. Give me a strength save so I can see if I can toss him."
I want to point out, Rams was playing a dwarf. Our bard was a dragonborn. The thought of
I have to have an image now of like Super Mario Bros. 2 where
eating a dragonborn into a castle. But yes, we had some shenanigans there because it was one of those things where, like, at certain points, I just turned him like, "This whole time you had that ability." Like, this whole time. It's like stressed out cleric just looking over at the bard. He's like, "I don't know what your problem is, cleric." It's like, which, I didn't know that player, but that was a lot of fun, and it's made a fun table story. That yes, the whole crossing the gap experience is just hilarious on so many levels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so tabletop was held like in the Seaside Ballroom again. So like
in a different room because there's multiple rooms down there in case people weren't there and didn't know.
And I know last year, Jay, you were also doing some tabletop action, and now that tabletop is in a different room, what do you think of this brand new setting?
I really like it. You still get a lot of noise sometimes because it's right next to this entry area that you have a lot of people just sitting and talking and what have you, and obviously certain panels, if you get the cheers or whatever, are going to echo down the hallway, which kind of was an irritation occasionally. But for the most part, I had no problem with it. I also like the fact they separated the card and like board game room from like the tabletop RPG room, because those are very different kinds of games, and you're going to bring in two very... You'll have crossover, obviously. I'm not going to go and say that like I don't play regular board games. I do. But what I mean is, you want a quieter kind of room for one thing while the Magic the Gathering tournament is happening in the other room, is kind of more of what I'm trying to say. And I think it works really well.
The environment of a tabletop game, a tabletop card game, is like you have to be like constantly saying stuff because like you need to make sure the rule, you know what you're doing, or you're not like trying to pull fast one of the other guys. Like, okay, I'm doing that, blah 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 blah. So it's like it gets kind of the cacophony of noise would start to drown you off, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. And especially when you're trying to RP and stuff like that, it really becomes a problem if other people are just, yelling and what have you. When you're trying to do a sequence of like, all right, should we go climb up the mountain or go down into the valley? And I was like, climb the mountain, let's get a better point of view. And thankfully the team agreed. Yay, we went up the mountain and got to fight skeletons. And whatever the other animal things we got to fight were, I can't remember now. But
I think it was, yeah. Oh, we fought slugs.
That's right, yeah, the little slug monster things. Skeletons are fun, though.
Slugs.
All right.
But it ended up being a fun experience, and character creation was kind of a thing, because there's The first one you made by yourself, which is pretty impressive. Here's a hand clap for you, because that's you've taken a step into a bigger world. It isn't just me guiding you, asking you questions and filling stuff in. It is literally you saying, I want this, reading over the material and saying, ooh, that skill looks really cool. Ooh, maybe I'll use this one instead. And you made a really tanky ranger, which is kind of cool. I've never really experienced someone using a tanky ranger before.
Yeah, and that was the idea, because I was like, because originally I thought there were going to be more people, and I thought, like, okay, I'm going to be a tanky ranger so I can get in the battle so I can heal you guys. Originally, I was supposed to be someone like a combat healer, where it's like I can fend for myself, but I'm more there to help you guys out, because I was overhearing all you guys what you guys were going to be doing, and I was like, okay, like if I want to fit an archetype that would fit like what this mission is going to have. So I started looking through all the stuff, all my abilities, and started seeing everything, and I just kind of rolled that character, like it more. So I was like, if anything, like the situation kind of forced me to do something on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And also, at the time when you were gaming, I ended up booking a photo shoot with a friend of mine, and you know what? Downtown Long Beach has a lot of amazing places to take photos at. So this photo here is just like the photographer meetup zones. Like a lot of some photographers here were like just doing shoots of cosplayers in the zone. However, there is a lighthouse like in a little shoreline villagey area. It's a bit of a hike, but it's really worth it to get some really amazing photos done, especially if you have like anything that's like nautical themed or like sea pirate themed, like when I was cosplaying as Beidou from Genshin Impact. I'm still waiting on the photos. I'm looking forward to seeing how they turn out. But I did take some selfies and I did record some TikTok videos up there while I was waiting for my photographer friend. I was actually lip syncing to A Pirate's Life for Me from Pirates of the Caribbean because I am a Disney Parks nerd. And the photo shoot was a lot of fun. But however, I did mention earlier in the show that it rained. And it rained the day before, and there was still like just some remnants of the rain, and by remnants, like some of the places were still muddy and slippery. I fell on my butt, and I got and then because it was close to the ocean, it didn't smell like rainwater, it smelled like seawater. It's like, oh wow, I actually do smell like a pirate now. I mean, I was just kind of like just making a joke out of it because okay, yeah, Beidou, and I love the cosplay and whatnot, but thankfully they had a cosplay repair station because I had to just hot glue my headpiece back together, which was pretty easy to do. And I had a really good conversation with one of the ye old timey cosplayers in there who had a Bastet furry costume, had a Bastet fursuit, and we were just talking about everything from Egyptology to some convention stories, because we were just talking about how long have you been in cosplay, and he was like, yeah, I've been in cosplay when Yaya Han's boobs were a C cup. Actual quote.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking the fifth on that one.
So basically, I kind of had to just sort of just wash myself up, just get rid of get rid of the mud on my costume. Thankfully, it was easy to do, and when I got home after the convention, it was also just really easy to machine wash everything together. Thankfully, nothing was permastain. I knew I'd be fine. It's just okay, I'm just rolling up to the con smelling like seawater. Oh yeah, it's on brand. It's on brand for Beidou. And then for day 2,
seawater and booze.
And day 2 was one of the many Genshin gatherings. There was quite a few Genshin cosplay meetups, so I decided I'm kind of late for the Genshin gathering, but that's okay because there's a lot of elementals, there's a lot of regions, pairings, and so forth, so it's going to be a while. So basically, I had a lot of fun with the other Beidous. There's like 4 other Beidous, and each of us at the gathering, when we were doing separating ourselves by elementals, we were just trying to show pride for our various elementals. I know Geo was chanting Geo, 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 and all of us Electro were just kind of looking at each other wait, pride, huh? What's going on?
Uh-oh.
So we were just kind of just having, it was a lot of fun. I was kind of bummed because I didn't see my buddy Ceci at the meetup, because we were trying to meet up with each other, and I don't know anyone here, but I got along fairly well with like this Beidou squad. It's like, yeah, Beidou, roll tide. Also, while the Genshin meetup was clearing out, the Loop on the Third cosplay gathering was moving in. I'm like, oh my god, Loop on the Third cosplayers. That actually made me happy to see them. Like, had I known, well, I did know, but I prioritize someday being Beidou at ALA. I mean, yeah, I have a Fujiko cosplay, but some other people like to mistake me for a certain MCU character. I prefer redhead Fujiko. That's
That's
just
the
my personal
problem.
preference. I like redhead
I
Fujiko.
know
I like being a
that.
redhead.
And if you went as a brunette, people want to keep making you
Nah, I'm not brunette Fujiko. I'm done with brunette
Fine.
Fujiko. I retired brunette
La-di-da.
Fujiko. I'm done with that life. I'm a redhead now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, hey, we have a familiar face here. So, we were just kind of like just walking back to our hotel, just like just change into just something a little bit more comfortable because I'm not gonna lie, wearing Genshin, full day, like all the accoutrements, all the accessories, like okay, I kind of want to change out of this. We just wear something simple because we were gonna do panels for the rest of the evening, and we ran into our buddy here, Penny Docs, who is in the chat right now.
What are
And-
the odds?
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
had like this deodorant devil. Well, deodorant devil made me make a contract with them to make sure y'all don't stink, and they were giving out like deodorant to anyone who needed it. And I just love how Craig is just like having like this ish eating grin, and our buddy Kenny here is just kind of like, ugh, you look like you stink. I just love this look on here, like Craig wearing his slow bro outfit. And like just Kenny's reaction to it in the photo. Penny Doc says in the chat, me and the two stooges. So would Richie
That's a
make
good
a third
description.
stooge? All right, so let's talk about panel nights.
This was a lot of fun.
All right.
So we had the three of us for Make Mine Mecha, which was cool. You were in charge of hitting the computer
I
buttons.
am panel clicker person, and I am also like,
Expositing the hell out of Voltes 5.
yes, exposing the hell out of Voltus 5 and reminding people to support the industry by supporting the official release.
And me and Rams were there to fill in story stuffs. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I always try to evolve this panel. I thought there were some panels, or some sections we'd removed, and they were still there. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll talk about this one. It's not that I forget. It's just more the point of like, oh, I thought we got rid of that one because I thought it wasn't that interesting. I know I was given like 2 or 3 suggestions for stuff people really wanted me to explore into, and I remember one of them. Because that's what happens when you don't write stuff down, people. You gotta write stuff down. But I'm definitely gonna probably change things up a little bit, because I feel like there's some 90s stuff that I think needs to get an extra spotlight, and some 80s stuff I think I gloss over. So it's always an evolving panel. Like my Final Fantasy panel, like most of my panels, I always try to change it up so you're not getting the same stories over and over again. But bear in mind, it'll always be Mazinger and Getter. Like, those have to be there because they're the
Yeah.
foundations.
Yeah, and like I said, they're foundation. I when I presented the information, I was like, I present like for example in Mexico, a lot of like Mazinger was like if there was something before Saint Seiya, it was Mazinger that was kind of the big thing. So it's like I got to expose a little bit on like the popularity in Mexico and stuff. So it was really interesting. And like I said, but also too, it's like it is kind of a fundamental series to start with. So it's like, yeah, if you don't talk about Mazinger, then what else can you talk about that is equally as important? Well, there's a lot more, but it's a landmark. If you will.
But also providing the experience of the Mexico viewing experience, I think was added a lot to the panel.
Yeah, and then I also ran the shopping for cosplay fabric, shopping for fabric in the fashion district and what the LA fashion district has to offer. This is my second time running the panel, and I always enjoy running this one. And I was rolling this solo while y'all were running the Gunpla panel, and I always have fun doing it. I always first and foremost, I just love teaching the new generation, like, this is the resource that you guys have, and this is how you can use it. And I always leave folks like, yeah, here's the QR code where you can download the slides, because I always leave the addresses and just some tips on how you can make the most of your trip to the fashion district. And I actually did visit the fashion district the week after Anime Los Angeles, just like, okay, let me just check, see if there's like any other stores that are worth mentioning here, and some maybe some other tips I may have missed. So if you attended the panel, unfortunately, parking got really jacked up. So when you see a $3 parking sign, that's $3 for the first 10 minutes. They jacked it up to $20 for full day. So like, yeah, if you attended the panel, that's a piece of information that I just learned the week after, just going back in. But like I said, I really like running this panel because, like I said, LA, we have this amazing resource of fabric that a lot of times is affordable, and even with like some stores adjusting for inflation, the fabric out there is still much more like affordable than say Joann's. And I ended up picking up fabric last weekend for Jay's Ya Boy Kong Ming cosplay and my upcoming Anime Boston Masquerade cosplay. And yeah, and then that was that panel. And after that panel, after that one person, because again, context for those of you just tuning in right now, anytime I introduce like my background, who am I at the start of the panel, I always like, yeah, I first started cosplaying at Animagic 2000 in Lancaster. And then the first question I get is someone coming up to me is like, wait, there were anime conventions in Lancaster?
For several years,
Yeah,
yes.
for a few years, Lancaster had Animagic. And then I just kind of like, as I was walking towards your panel, because you were running Gunpla at the time, I was thinking to myself, you know what? We should make a last day panel called like, conventions back in my day, where you and I dress up like this 1950s like auntie and uncle or something, and just kind of like just have that red and kitty energy. It's like, yeah, conventions back in my day, and I just like sipping on a mocktail.
Remember that convention at Lancaster? That was 5 members.
I can't tell most of my stories, but I'll try to tame them as much as possible.
Now, who wants a barbecue?
Because you're thinking that, first in my mind was like, man, we got to come up with like 80s characters to cosplay as like go as 80s characters. It's finally my excuse to cosplay as Chip from Transformers. Someone pushed me around.
All right.
I'm just thinking to myself. It's like I like one last thing before you guys. When you say that all that stuff, it's like we have there's a term in the circle of like of streamers I follow. It's like we call like the boomers of like who know how to play video games like really good. We call them like lore masters. So I'm like, what? So you guys are like lore masters of anime? That's what we are.
Yeah, and then after that, y'all, while I was running that panel, y'all were running the Gunpla panel, and this photo here is actually taken by my colleague Pal, who really loves Gunpla too.
The panel was pretty cool. We had clearly some veteran people who just wanted to hang out and probably just talk robots, because afterwards both of us got talked to about robots, and other people who looked like they were interested or just needed a place to sit down. It's hard to tell sometimes. But the panel was really cool, and for those who don't know, we talked about the terminology, so you're not like my brother saying sprues, and then I need to like try to bash him on the head with a mallet, because how dare you? That's a model building joke. And I don't hit my brother for anyone who cares. Not even like playfully. But it's one of those things where we go through those kinds of things. We talk about other options, because maybe you don't like, 60-foot tall stompy boys. Maybe you're more into Power Rangers or Kamen Riders. There are options for you. Maybe you're into... I think there's even some Ultraman stuff that we don't actually cover it. We talk about a lot of different things. I want to add Pokepla into the list, because I think everyone can get into Pokepla, because they look very simple and super adorable.
And we got our roommate Penny Docs into Pokepla.
I was about to say, I like to put in. So I like to put like an addendum to that to our panel. There are now. I just remembered that there was kits for Ultraman.
Oh, cool.
But like some of them were based on like they were like like the Dynasty of the Three Kingdoms like styled. So like you had you had like one character like what Ultraman was supposed to be like Lubu and stuff like that.
Okay.
However, they did introduce I think they just introduced soup like within the last couple of days actually. Like they just introduced they actually some like mainline Ultraman, not the ones from the anime, but like stuff from like the actual TV show.
Well, that's what I was thinking in my head. that you get stuff from.
No,
from
but
TV series.
but they did release those into the Figurized Standard line. So like they actually do have now like official Ultramen from like the live action stuff.
Okay, so good. I get to do updates. That'll be fun for the next time we do this, because I think there's people who would have other interests that might not be Gundam, but might have other interests. Go, oh, I can make a model of that? I'm like, yes, you can make a model of that. You can make a model of a Dragon Ball. They have Dragon Ball people. I've seen the Piccolo model. I've seen the box for it. I've never actually seen the model IRL. I'm sure it looks pretty cool, though.
Yeah, so basically, I really like this presentation that you guys do. Not because I created slides for them, but I really like the fact that this panel is always evolving, and that there is a like how to get into Gunpla panel that is very user and beginner friendly. Awesome stuff. And again, we actually did get our hotel mate into Pokepla because they came back to our hotel and was like, "I got Pokepla." Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
because I think afterwards we were just talking about that stuff, and then like I picked up one, and then our roommate was like, I picked one up too. It's like I picked one up too.
Yeah, and also in the chat we got Doku Dell, and they have a really amazing like Twitch channel on Gunpla, so definitely subscribe to them. They're awesome. I miss them. I miss seeing them at cons. I miss going out to East Coast cons as often as I used to do.
And you got a follow from me because you get a follow from me now.
All right, so I kind of did so after that we went to Islands, had some dinner. I get both you, Penny, Jay decided like we'll call it a night, and then for me I was like I'm just gonna do my Condorless thing, and Condorless is just kind of me like just wandering around the convention at night, just wearing regular clothes, just kind of like let me just kind of just see what the nightlife is like, and just kind of like just go where the energy takes me. So I actually went into the Gunpla and Chill panel, which is basically like yeah, let's play some lo-fi beats and just kind of like just have like a space for people to build. So it was in that same panel room that y'all were in. But they kind of like had the lights a little bit low. It's like might not be the best place, might not be the best environment, best lightings.
Yeah, you kind of need to read the instructions when you're working.
I mean, like, yeah, you could use your flashlight on your like phone,
but then it's defeating the purpose of having like the chill environment, because now you're seeing everyone fiddle flashlights out.
Yeah, but I do like the vibe of like having a having lo-fi music in the background. It's like, yeah, this is chill, but okay, but just raise up the lights if it's like let's kind of build. And
me, I'd be like, look, bring in all the beanbag chairs and like have like a little small little table right there, and just like have this, like just like have like a little like a big table, all these beanbag chairs, and like the lo-fi chill music, and just just chill with the other dude and just like talk shop.
ALA, let me and Rams run this next time. I assure you, it'll be awesome.
Yes.
We'll do it right after our panel. We'll just do our panel,
ideas.
and then we'll be like, all right, people, all we have left is lo-fi Gundam music, and, chillax, build some kits. Me and Rams will both hold up something, and we got stuff here, too. I'll just hang out with you and build stuff and listen to some chill music for like a couple hours.
I was looking at Penny's comment here. Imagine dropping a piece of plastic in dim lights.
Imagine putting a piece in the middle. Imagine putting a piece, like especially for like nippers and X-Acto knife. Imagine trying to cut a piece exactly to the point in that kind of environment. Like that's that's the true horror.
See, this is why I don't use the X-Acto knife too often. I just sand it down nicely and use my finger. Yeah. But I do have a knife, in case anyone cares. Yes, I do.
And usually my Condorless always takes me to the karaoke room. And then, like, you had, like, people, like, singing, like, emo songs from the O's, zeros, and
aughts.
Then aughts. I have to get used to the phrase aughts. And then you
That's
have...
what they said back in the 1900s. So it's always like, back in 1903,
And then, like, you had, like, this guy here singing Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. It's like, oh my god, this is awesome. So I was just singing along to it, too. And I think after that, I decided to call it a night. All right.
Hey, I know these people.
All right, so if you want to smell like a pirate that has been out to sea without falling on your butt in the ocean of the Pacific, Magic Candle Company has got you covered. They actually have a spray called Pirate Water.
So you can smell like the Pirates of the Caribbean and have people go,
I like that scent of pirate water.
Is your costume like smelling like pirate water? And you could go yar.
Yar. Yeah, so I think like next time I cosplay as Beidou, I'm gonna have that authentic pirate water smell.
And if you have any other favorite rides or attractions or even just restaurants in some cases, they do have those smells in both candle form, spray form, car freshener. The car freshener one that you used from Avatar Land was like amazing.
Yeah, I use their Avatar Flight, or it's like something like Banshee Flight or Avatar Flight or something like that. I really enjoy the joy that's in. I always have that in my car because it feels like I'm going on Flight of Passage anytime I drive, and it's much better than Way of Water.
And they can just throw on some Genshin music.
Stupid question as an aside, and maybe this might be like maybe if these guys are listening, is there leg of turkey scent?
I would
not yet.
They didn't do that.
Not yet.
They didn't do turkey leg. They gotta do that.
All right, so
if you're listening, Magic Candle Company, please do it. I'll buy like 20 of them once you do.
All right,
they do have ice cream and stuff and popcorn. So I would be
popcorn. You got me on popcorn. I love the smell.
If maybe it's one of those what do they call them? Yearly things or whatever. Like maybe they do that around November.
All right.
If they don't, they should.
And in the chat, Penny Doc says there is a bacon fragrance for candle and soap. All right, so Magic Candle Company, save 15% when you use our code 8EAT15 at checkout. Save 15%, get 15% off your entire purchase when you use EAT15 at checkout. All right, let's move on to day 3, Masquerade Tea.
Oh yeah, you have all the adventures.
Yeah, this is pretty much my show, kind of, sort of. All right, so day 3, obviously the most crowded day, the busiest day of the 4-day Anime Los Angeles. Also, I wanted to add that Anime Los Angeles is also very much known for its ribbon trading, and I wish I kind of took photos of our ribbons that we were giving out, but there was a gentleman, he usually shows up every year, he cosplays as Joseph Joestar, and he has like a ribbons station like in the convention center lobby, and I usually trade with him because he has like a lot of like old school anime trivia, JoJo trivia, and this year he had like Spy X Family trivia. And also, just wanted to give a shout out to my friends who are cosplaying from Tokyo Mew Mew. I was supposed to be the mint in the group, but I had to drop because of masquerade reasons. And Gazelle, take my place. I also want to say hi to your cats. All right, so day 3, just another photo from the exhibit hall. So to find for e-gaming, you kind of had to go to the way back of the exhibit hall. And they actually had a couple of arcade games here too. I didn't really try out the e-gaming section because I know there were like every year there's like this indie game that I want to try out because they were there last year and they've been like just touring like a bunch of different cons, but I didn't have the chance to. But like e-gaming, which is kind of like in the back of the hall.
It was kind of in a weird position because I wandered the hall a few times. I never actually came across it.
Like it was easier for me to find the Atasha cars because you have to pass by them because like to go to the Seaside Ballroom and to get to the food trucks, you had to pass by the Atasha cars. All right, just some more like some of the reenactor cosplayers I see all the time. And day 3 was also Spy X Family Day, and even though I wore Yor for like half of the day, I had to change back into my Setsuna Yuki cosplay because I was wearing that for a masquerade. And
we got a question from the chat here from Rob, my co-host from the Saturday Morning Squadron. What's up, Rob? He says here, any classic games you found there you sank your hours into? For me and Jared, and I think me and him we played more of the tabletop than actual like classic gaming. I went there a few times. Go on.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I said, I had trouble finding the gaming section, so for me it was more tabletop stuff than anything else. Which I have a story about that that's from this day.
And then for me it was the problem was just like I it felt barren. Like you'd go there and there was like no one playing stuff, and it's just like, what's the point? Like
I think no one could find it.
Yeah, that's a problem because I kind of I was expecting more of a if you're doing like gaming, I want more like an environment to just be there and just play games with other people. But there was hardly ever that kind of environment.
And plus, it's only open till 7 o'clock in the evening, so that's the other issue too.
Terrible plan.
Yeah, because like that if they kept it at the same time, if they kept it like all like long or something like that, like I would like, yo, I go with you, you can do karaoke, I'll be here in the gaming room, I'll play like a best of 20 like Alpha 2 or something like that.
But they'd have some tournaments and stuff going on. But again, I had no idea what room it was even in. So
It
not,
probably was
Yeah,
just all in
and also
e-gaming.
almost like
not that I'm good at the
and
modern
because the
games,
limited
but
time they have there, because it's only open during the time that the exhibition room is open.
yeah,
There's only so much time and only so many tournaments. If this was like its own dedicated place, there would have been like tournaments like all over the place.
yeah.
Well, of course they had and I was looking through it. I was like, yeah, I can do this, but like I'm gonna get wrecked. I think I mentioned to you guys Third Strike, but I was like, if I play Third Strike right now without me playing, because I haven't played it in like a year now.
Yeah, more than
And
that.
it's like, if I played it, if I picked it up right, if I played it cold, I am gonna get obliterated. I know that for a fact. I am gonna get wrecked. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna risk it for the sake of embarrassment. At least, like at least I can like, so all the girls won't be like, look at this loser. Can't play Street Fighter, can't parry properly.
It takes time
Anyways,
to like remember stuff. You get that muscle memory back.
yeah. Especially since like, I was like for a while like I was practicing to play with Uri, and it's just like, good luck trying for me to remember how to play Urian again.
Yeah, and we also have Pika Chica in the chat. Wish they had e-gaming in a different place. Yes, I agree. Before I go to Masquerade, why don't both of you talk about your D&D adventure?
Well, we had two different times we were playing because I was with the advanced game and Rams ended up playing Dread, which is I wish I could, but I was at a different tournament. That's a story. But the one thing I'll say is most of the people at my table are pretty cool. There's a dude who was playing, I want to say a rogue or something like that. And I had difficulty reading the dice, the borrowed dice I was given, and he actually had a very nice set, and I ended up using that for my rolling. He noticed I had visual issues. He was like, here you go. These should be easier to read. And I was like, oh, thank you. And we had some fun people. Our RP was really great. We had a dude who was just doing a pirate voice the whole time. And
nice.
my cleric was a cleric of storms whose backstory was he was a pirate. So I was trying to buddy up with that guy, but that guy was like, you could clearly tell he didn't want to play. He was just kind of screwing around, and it was annoying the DM.
Ugh.
And he left partway through. He at our second encounter, he literally ran away and then left the table because he realized that
He ran away in real life.
Yeah, ran away in game and in real life, which is too bad. He had a pretty decent bard. It looked like he just didn't. Either he was too intimidated or something was going on. It looked like he may have been there with some friends and going like, okay, yeah, this is a lot to take in. I'm just gonna screw around and then leave when the RP is over.
Or maybe he had like something, other obligations, like, oh shit, I gotta go.
Yeah, it may have been something like that. I don't fully know, but the DM reminded me of one of my first DMs, and since no one will know him because no one went to my junior high, his name was Daniel, if I recall properly, and he was a very aggressive DM, to put it lightly. He really liked, just brutalizing the players, and that's kind of how this guy was. There was literally in our final encounter, he just kept spamming AoEs exactly on the group. And of course, some of us didn't have great rolls for their initiative, myself included. So I got to have one action before being killed, revived, killed, revived, killed. So it was a very fun, exciting final battle for me where I got to do nothing as a cleric because I got focused. I just got AoE'd and then focused down. Focused down. Let's say it that way, not the way we normally say it. So, and that was just the kind of DM he was. I knew exactly what I was in for about a certain point when he almost screwed over the entire party in a just a randomized encounter. And one of the people at the table said, "You did this to us last time." And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then once I realized what was going on, I was like, okay, so this is what we're dealing with. And then he killed me. He almost killed our monk. He almost killed our barbarian, which is pretty impressive to do because barbarians are very, very beefy. And it just became like a whole, okay, your goal in this mission is to kill us all. And then the wizard person who had stolen the MacGuffin teleported away. So even though we defeated the enemies, we didn't even stop the evil wizard person. And then the game was done. So no major resolution. Bad guys win. The end. So yeah, that. I'm hoping I don't run into him as a DM again. I don't know what DMs they'll have next year, but like, I really don't like overly aggressive. I don't like kid glove DMs who are like, oh, I don't want to accidentally hurt you. Oh my god, you took damage. And then the bad guys run away because they cut you. It's like, no. But you can't be like, oh, my whole goal is to murderize the party as hard as I can. Because that's not fun for the players. And he was older than me. He was clearly like in his 50s. He was easily a first edition and very likely a second edition person, and those people are very fanboy of those early editions. They love brutal D&D. He had that vibe to him, and even though I began on second edition, I don't recommend it as a good starting point because you will die a lot. It's a brutal game because Gygax really liked killing players. That was kind of his deal.
So Rams, what did you do on Saturday? What did you do on Saturday?
I played a game called Dread. It's a game where you essentially have to play. It's a basic role playing game where you have a Jenga tower in front of you, and basically you're whatever happens is determined by by you pulling out something from the Jenga tower, and usually it's something a little supernatural. In this case, we were all stuck in a department store on Halloween, and since I was the last person there because I was like waitlisted, and like no one on the waitlist was there, so I got last dibs. I unfortunately got to play a 10-year-old kid.
Yay, pre-gens.
And what was interesting was like at first I was like, because like what they do is like they give you the DM gave us a sheet and pretty much like, okay, like this is your character, and what you do is like just to get yourself into character, like what like they give you like a couple of prompts of questions. At first I was writing the character like if I was a 14-year-old, but then I started getting to other questions like oh I'm much younger than I should be. Oh no. But it gave me an advantage too because it was like it was a certain amount of freedom being a 10-year-old because like when you're 10, you can be very blunt with people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I did. That's how I pretty much played. That's how I pretty much played him. Where it's like I was just very, very, very blunt with my other. But it was like they understood because like 10-year-olds are very blunt. Like they're blunt people. They're like they will say something. They don't have the tact to know like when or why they would say it, but they say it regardless. And we had a motley crew of people in our group. We had like the employee of the month, like that was trying to be perfectionist even during the chaos. Like the person was trying to like put things back in place. We had the slacker. We had the regional manager.
You had a Karen.
What?
You had a Karen.
Yeah, we had a Karen. An honest to God Karen, which led to one of my favorite moments in the game. And I forgot what else because there was one. Oh, there's a filmmaker. There was one employee that was a filmmaker. Because I remember, like, oh yeah, I called him James Cameron. Because obviously when you're 10, you give very stupid nicknames, and like I can say some of the stuff I put down, but I would get kicked out of this. I would get kicked out of this podcast, so I don't want that. I only let one thing slip. I don't want that slipping again. But regardless, it was an interesting time. I think the DM was not counting on all of us being Jenga experts.
Usually they're not. That's the whole point of the game, is that tower's going to fall and characters are going to start dying off. Or multiple, depending on
like we were
the situation.
we only had one character die off. That was a weird thing. Like most of us was like and like all of us were like take a step back. Like no, we ain't messing with this. We ain't messing with our comrade here. They're the ones doing it. So we like always whenever they had to pull, like we always take a step back. Like no, you take care of that. You take care of that. And yeah, like it was a low count, but it was very. It was a very exciting game. It wasn't. There's an equal balance of like us doing stupid stuff and also stuff like that would involve us like pulling stuff from the Jenga tower. I want to say board, but it's not the tower.
Mhm.
So it was a fun time. Like it's something I would like to something that like I saw like gears on my head like go in the back of my brain. It's like since this is this simple of a game, it'd be interesting to like know like a little bit more about what kind of rules what more rule sets are there, and just do something with that.
Yeah, I guess I can now talk about my Masquerade experience.
All
Um,
you.
yeah, Masquerade, I will say this at Anime Los Angeles 18, had a huge glow up because the last time I competed at Anime Los Angeles Masquerade was about 10 years ago. And the less said about that, the better. But
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like how they ran this show. So we all had our orientation in the morning, and it's run by Katrina, and I really like how she ran the whole show. And we had what we called our den pies, and these are like people who are assigned to us. We were like divided into three different groups, and we had like people assigned to us, like, hey, do you need help? Do you need food? Do you need us to do anything for you? Just kind of like just help you, just kind of like de-stress before you go on stage. Like, do you need someone to hype you up? So that was the responsibility of like a den pie. The old terminology for it was like den mom, dad, but to keep it with anime terminology, they use den pie, which I kind of like. And I like the idea of like just having like just like staff people just kind of like there to just hype you up and just kind of like like, yeah, you got this, we got you. And what I also really liked, there was a lot of things I really liked, and there were a few things that also could be improved too. Let's and yeah, like not everything's perfect. Judging was at Seaside Ballroom, so judging was done by folks in cosplay that have like years of experience, years of competition experience. So I really did appreciate that because like wow, it's really been a while since I've done Masquerade as a competitor. Because the last time I've done Masquerade as a competitor was back at Otakon Vegas 2017, and I can't believe that was 6 years ago. Whoa, where has the time gone? So judging was at the Seaside Ballroom, and of course, getting to Seaside Ballroom is kind of a pain because I had to change out of Spy X Family into Setsune Yuki because when I like my costumes to be judged, I like to be actually be wearing the costume when it's being judged because I don't like the idea of like lugging my stuff to one end of one place to another, especially if my hotel is offsite. And even though that the Renaissance is right across the street from the Long Beach Terrace Theater, which has the basement to the seaside level, getting to the seaside ballrooms is a pain in the butt. Um, I also like the fact that were able to do dress rehearsals. So we also had the stage, and we also had like a mini stage where we with like the stage dimensions where you could rehearse. You can like figure out blocking, you can figure out planning, and they also had like an acting coach there who's had theater experience, and he was also available if you needed like pointers, if you needed constructive criticism, and I actually used him for that for that. He thought we did a good job, that we had a really well written script for like what we had to offer. I entered in as masters for this one because of my years experience doing Masquerade, and after Anime Boston 2014 we got best in class for intermediate. It's like, okay, there's no turning back now that we're considered masters level. So I just my main goal for Anime Los Angeles wasn't really to win anything. I just wanted to just go back on stage, just getting the feel for it again, and just making friends backstage in the green room, which I did. And what I liked about the green room is everyone also had like their own ribbon, so we were like just doing ribbon trading backstage, and we also had an official photographer to also take our photos with like this background type thing. So we also got like really nice photos of our costumes before going on stage, and we also had some snackages backstage too. We had like just bread, bagels, orange drink, fruit punch, and so forth. And there was also a cosplay repair station in case if someone had a snafu on their costume. And yeah, it was really cool because like a lot of people will just go up to one another and be like, "Yeah, how did you do this?" Like, or "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while." And what really surprised me with Anime Los Angeles, this is a Masquerade, is we had competitors from Arizona enter this competition. I'm usually not surprised if like folks from Northern California come down because like, yeah, Northern California, like we're used to seeing like Northern California people come out to like mid-sized conventions out here. But I was quite surprised. We had like a lot of Arizona competitors with us in the green rooms, like, oh, hey, yeah, welcome, like, cool to meet you. And they were also just sharing stories like, yeah, like some of the Arizona conventions, they don't really take their masquerades seriously. It's not at this high level of competition. And let me tell you, the level of cosplay and the level of quality I'm seeing, like, from all, like, um I was gonna say entry grade, from all levels of cosplayers, are just really impressed me. It's like, yeah, I really miss doing these because every time I see just cosplayers up close and just sharing, how their costume got made, just really inspires me to improve, and it just really inspires me to do better on my next project. So I just kind of like to sharing just some photos from here. So I got my buddies, Lindsay, Steve, and Ellie cosplaying from Alonda Zero. Um, Couple new friends here, Cardcaptor Sakura. I'm not sure what the Devil Girl is cosplaying from, but I really like their outfit, and they were sharing like, yeah, I use a sateen stretch for this fabric. Like, yeah, like I love a good sateen, and just kind of like just seeing again just these details up close. As a competitor, I am also learning a lot here too. Also, I had my buddy Kira, I guess they were cosplaying. The name of the series just kind of escapes my mind. I guess it's like Console Wars, but like sexy anime girls? Question mark. I don't know. Um,
Oh, that's a Hyper Dimension Neptunia.
Oh, I probably could have told you that. I wasn't even looking at the pictures.
Even from the description, you couldn't figure it out.
No,
Sexy anime girls and but console wars.
it's video game history more like most of the time.
Yeah, because they were doing like reenacting, like I think it was like just the Sega versus Nintendo thing on stage. So, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then I had my buddy Kagura here. They were doing like these Art Nouveau style fake fade outfits. It's like, oh hey, this looks neat. And then I was very happy to see a Lin Minmei cosplay from Do You Remember Love in our year of our Lord 2023 on stage, and like, and she was on right before me, and like me and the stagehand backstage, we were just singing along to it because she was singing like, my boyfriend's a pilot. Like, oh my god, we're so old, we still remember the lyrics. And then also we had this antique cosplayer here. I love the texture that they use for their Rose Bride outfit. I like the fact that he used that rose jacquard. It's like, oh hey, that's pretty neat. And they were also a competitor from Arizona. And like, yeah, like it's kind of cool to just talk to like Utena fans backstage. And you can also just look closely in the background. You can also see like the Denpais are cosplaying from Tokyo Mew Mew. Again, one of the most popular fandoms represented at this convention. Like, oh hey, I kind of like the whole like Denpai maid outfit, Tokyo Mew Mew motif here. And then we had a Vocaloid cosplayer here. We had an Elizabethan Zelda cosplayer, and like again, like I was just very happy to like just look at some of their details and just kind of like just talk about what inspired them to like go in this direction with their costumes. So yeah, Masquerade just kind of came and went. I didn't place, but you know what, that was okay. I got a huge like round of ovation, a round of applause from the audience because again, what we do here between Jay and I is we specialize in comedy monologues. And the nice thing about ALA Masquerade is they have like a talk back session the next day. So a lot of us gave in our constructive feedback. One of my feedback was, can you make solo skits longer? Because you need more than 60 seconds, in my opinion, to have an effective comedic monologue. But that's just
It cuts so many jokes.
Yes, it cut like a lot of our original jokes. You can actually see the original script if you can look up the Otakon 2021 Masquerade. It was a non-competition masquerade, but I actually had a lot of people come up to me like, wow, you actually did like a masquerade level skit and outfit for a non-competition one. Like, I just wanted to be on stage again. And I had like the same impression here. Like, I just wanted to be on stage again. And then I like mingling with people who craft and make their own stuff. And just after that, it just kind of like just sparked a brand new interest again in just focusing on crafting cosplays. Nothing wrong with buying costumes, but I kind of felt like being in lockdown and just kind of dealing with creative ennui kind of has like stunted like my creativity and just going back into costuming. But this has really inspired me to just go back into it and just kind of like just get my skills back up again. All right, so just a little bit more of Condorless. So like Condorless on day 3, this also involved just kind of just going through, just wandering around. You have people like late at night doing ribbon trading at the Long Beach Convention Center lobby area. And what I like about the Long Beach Convention Center lobby areas is they had like a ton of different types of couches that were like very cozy.
Oh, they are
Yeah, a
very
lot of
cozy.
cozy couches, and sometimes you get the random like angler fish um
Oh, the
statue.
light up statue.
Yeah, the
thing.
light statue of the anglerfish. You'll get
Yeah.
those. I was like, wait, you're for Finding Nemo. And also in the evening, you had the cosplay deviance dance that there was a long line to get into. And if you could not get into the cosplay deviance dance, you could start cha-cha slide in the middle of the lobby like these folks have started. I'm okay with that. And also,
I think if you were given a choice between doing a cha cha dance in the lobby or cosplay deviance dance, I'd go with the cha cha dance.
go with the cha-cha slide. Yeah, that was a lot of fun
Yeah.
just seeing them do that. And I actually ran into people like from also like when we were going up to our hotel room, I met some Twisted Wonderland cosplayers, and I actually ran into them again in the convention lobby. He's like, "Hey, do you want to hang out with us?" Like, yeah, but I just kind of want to like just kind of explore the nighttime vibe. And again, like I said, with the nighttime vibe, I always find myself back at the karaoke room. And at the karaoke room, this is also the evening where what happened? Oh, this is also the evening. Of course, it won't let me play again. That's weird. Like sometimes they'll let me play, sometimes it won't.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a video. But anyway, there was like this video here. Basically, when I was in the karaoke room, we had a fire alarm pull.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we had a fire
Oh
alarm
Lord.
pull, but I think it was a grease fire from like the convention center kitchen, so it was a legit fire alarm pull.
Oh, that's a nice change of pace.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, I think last year at ALA, didn't we have like the false alarm one?
Yeah, because sometimes like at anime conventions you have the false alarm one, and you have like the notification like on the speaker. It's like, please stay in your seats. Please stay in your seats, and wait for any order. Blah 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 blah. And like, wait, is this for real? Like, oh my god, I hope someone didn't pull the fire alarm this time to make us all look bad. But it
Versus the
actually was
standard
legit.
voiceover telling you not
Oh,
to
wow.
panic, and everyone's like, "It said panic," and then everyone just runs and
But
riots.
we were just continuing singing along to Plastic Love from the 80s. All right, and that's that for day 3. And all right, so we have an advert here for a California Cosplay Gala.
I know them.
So, like California Cosplay Gala, they are best known for throwing and ballroom dances across the state of California. And this is the group that runs the formal dance at Anime Los Angeles. If you like what they do, and if you live in Northern California or Southern California, they are running ballroom events throughout the year. Follow them on Instagram at Cosplay Gala. And you can check out this comic here of what California Cosplay Gala is all about. And right now, our leaders of California Cosplay Gala, Kenny and Craig, are somewhere in Japan sword fighting in an onsen.
And instead of getting me limited Gunpla from the various major stores, come on, guys, get your act together. Buy me stuff.
All right, the last day, day 4. Hey, your costume is Gyu from Demon Slayer here, Jay.
I totally am. I had packed it, and I said, I'm wearing it, and I finally got a chance to wear it.
Yeah,
I think is this the first anime con I've worn Gyu to?
I think you wore Gyu at. Wait, hang on. Let's backtrack here.
Did I wear Gyu at Expo?
No, you did not have Gyu at Expo.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You had Gyu at San Diego Comic Con because we
Right,
were
not an
representing
anime
manga,
con.
and we were having the Hashira Oasis party, which is AKA a Hashira party where we drink tiki drinks, AKA just you and me by the pool, like having like adult drinks.
There was another group of randos who were having a great time, and they were hilarious. They probably had a bit more to drink than I did.
But yeah, like
But yeah, I think this is the first anime con I actually wore Gyu as. That is bizarre.
yeah, because we like representing our Demon Slayer at Comic Cons because we're anime nerds.
I got to take a picture of a tiny, like, Tanjiro and a tiny Nezuko. It was great. They're like little kids. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like, now I'm like a real teacher.
Yeah, I just like seeing like all the chibi-fied cosplayers here. The nice thing about Sunday of Anime Los Angeles is I like that Sunday also is open until 5 o'clock in the evening, giving like families more things to do. Unlike a lot of cons,
It just closed
like
out at like 3.
yeah, close out at 3. It's like, okay, get out. I mean, I love Anime Boston, I love Otakon, but I do like the fact like that, like, oh hey, everything closes up shop at 5, so you can actually like, if you're going for a weekend or if you're just going for a day, like if you're like a family and you just want to like do a cheap Sunday badge, just wander around the dealer's hall, just kind of like just explore around, take photos, do ribbon collecting. Day 4 at Anime Los Angeles, like it gives you like a full day of programming and things to do
I need more
at a
kid
good
appropriate
value.
ribbons. You just give little kids like a whole like.
Tasty was in a
Tasty would be fine. Yeah, Tasty would be fine.
yeah, and you giving out Tasty as Gyu, I thought was funny. Avenge the Fallen.
Spoilers.
I don't have to say the context.
True.
It's on Netflix right now.
It is.
All right, and then like I decided to just wear my masquerade costume again on day 4 because it was also the Love Live meetup. But what happened was my photographer got a hangover, and it's like, can we delay our photo shoot by an hour? Yeah, sure. It's my buddy Rem. He does like a lot of comedy shows at anime conventions. I need to see his comedy live, but I actually did shoot Yohane with him before lockdown, and I wanted to work with him again because I really like a lot of his portrait style photos, and I really like his direction style. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend Rem Photography. Amazing guy, cool dude to kind of like just hang around and just kind of like to share jokes around. All right, so yeah, this is my Setsuna Yuki cosplay that I wore at Masquerade, and this is just me in my day. Yeah, just kind of like just me, just like in the full outfit. I actually did use watercolor to paint the shoes. Like, you know what, I haven't really done a shoe project in a while. When it comes to shoes, I mainly do boot covers. It's like, you know what, let me just paint the shoes. And I also had my emotional support Nesso of Setsuna Yuki here. So I actually was carrying around my emotional support Nesso with me at Masquerade. Like, I need my emotional support Nesso. And this is like the smaller ones where you can just like pet it like a cat. I really like this costume. I know it looks fairly simple, but it was just pretty much just me just getting my first bout back into Masquerade, and this is a really fun costume to wear, and I love this character so much, and I look forward to just wearing this again at Anime Boston. I got a lot of good pointers about this cosplay, just how to fix it up, how to improve it in time for Anime Boston, because I'll just wear it like, you know, just casually in the halls. The wings I got from Amazon, and it's not the best wings because I just kind of had that oh snap moment when I was looking at the reference for like, oh snap, she has like tiny wings in the back. Amazon, can you help me? 1-day shipping, you know, use that Prime magic. But I think next time around I'll just create like craft foam wings. Because yeah, at the end of the day, those wings were dying because I got the cheapest wings on Amazon.
They did what they needed to do. That's what's important. And then after that was over, it's just okay. Well, we
bye.
Just recycle this. Thank you for your service.
And I also here's me having a selfie with my buddy Chris, Chris Z. He's a totally amazing photographer. I love working with him. He does cosplay shoots for free, and like he'll go wherever you tell him to go. And it was funny because I was waiting for him to be done with his shoot. He's like, yeah, I'm doing a Phoenix Wright shoot, and was like, hey, Chris, are you still doing a shoot? It's been like 3 hours. Yeah, I'm still shooting. What are you doing? Shooting Phoenix Wright Vice City right now? I was just like, we are just kind of like just joking back and forth about it. All right. And here's me having a selfie with a John Cena cosplayer and a Toru cosplayer from My Hero Academia.
Smart person joke.
Yeah, Toru and John Cena. Right there. My arm around them.
Yeah, totally.
Taking a selfie. And one of the things I like about the Long Beach Convention Center is you have like all these introvert alcoves is what I call them. There's a lot of couches and spaces to just kind of like just take a nap, like these two gentlemen right here.
I was so gassed out by day 4. If this was a 3-day con, I would have been fine because that would have been Saturday for us. But by the time it got to day 4 Sunday, I was just like, someone just dragged me. I'm going to dress up as Gyu and just prop me up somewhere, and if I need photos, just tell me to look what direction, because I'm not here right now. Please leave a message after the beep.
Totally Gyu. And then I told you guys, hey guys, there's a Gunpla sale. And you guys got immediately up.
Oh,
And this is a photo of you guys looking at Gunpla.
Well, they had a really good selection of stuff, including things that I've kind of been really wanting in my collection, and I actually did end up grabbing stuff, even though my plan was to grab nothing. I swear it. That was the plan. I said that before, and I'm like, nope, not gonna look at it. Nope, you can't. Nope. Okay, well, of course I need a Goof Custom because that needs to fight my Easy 8. But other than that, hold on, I need to grab this too. But other than these two,
We actually have the actual dealer in the chat right now, Pika Chica.
admittedly, this is one of the better priced locations I've ever seen because I know the original yen price for several of the items because I'm that much of a nerd, people. And I saw like the markup and I was like, oh wow, these are really well priced. I actually really appreciate this. So if you see their store around, I highly recommend.
Yeah, and not only that, one of the things that was interesting is like I was there. I was actually there a couple of hours beforehand, and I actually bought a few things there. But I was like, I'm here, and when in Rome, as they say. So I brought more.
You end up grabbing one of those the background thingies. I don't remember the proper name for those, but
The launch base like
the launch base thing.
And then I
It
also
looks
picked
pretty
up
cool.
Dukeman Figure Rise Standard, and I also picked up those are the ones I picked up there. But the day before, before that I picked up a Lucario for a Pokepla.
Yeah, which also comes
And-
with Rielu, so it's pretty cool too.
And then and also I picked up a Squash Bunny as well, but that was another place as well. But that panel, like it rekindled my love for Gunpla. I'm sorry.
It's what it's supposed to do. That means we did our job. I'd high five you, but you're somewhere else.
Well, like in the image here on Twitch, your avatars are just like very close to each other. You look like you're about to high five, but
Alright.
you're holding your laser sword though, Jared,
Mm-hmm.
or beam saber as we call
Beam
it.
Saber, 25% different.
All right, and then I decided to like just check out the Atasha section because there was a Setsuna Yuki car, and then I just took a photo right by the Setsuna Yuki car. And also, if you look very closely, you can see my emotional support Nesso on top of it. Also, you had some Day 4 shenanigans here. So you have like all these Genshin NPCs like just doing the coffin dance. And I thought that was funny. It's like, yeah, it's Day 4, like, whatever, shenanigans. And also in Day 4, you still had people doing ribbon trading. And here you had like one where like it looks like toss something inside of Eris from Final Fantasy 7. Because you get stabbed there and get a ribbon. And I thought that was pretty funny. Also, getting back to the dealer's hall, I actually did pick up a jacket from Kigu Stop. They had like this Wisteria jacket. It was like the last one on the rack. And like, you know what? I've been meaning to get the Wisteria jacket. It's Demon Slayer themed. And it's like, I love your jackets. They're very cozy. So I ended up picking up one. And like, now it's just kind of been like my default jacket anytime I'm going out. Also on Day 4, other random shenanigans. You had people doing their ribbon drop from the second floor of the convention center.
What?
Oh
And,
man, I would have done that. I wish I'd known.
and this person here had like over 350 or so ribbons, and they just did like a massive ribbon drop
Oh,
from
I
the
would have
second
done
floor.
that. No, I would have just gone out like 5 or something and go like, "Yoo." I'm making it rain up in the club, yo, with ribbons.
I don't think they would let you do that, but like, yeah, they just take their badge and do a ribbon drop and so they can show off their ribbon train.
Oh, I wanted to toss ribbons to people from like up there. They're just waiting, it's just slowly fluttering down. Oh, I didn't know the whole. No. That's absurd. Like I was closer to that last year. This year, because I didn't have mine, so I wasn't really trading around too often.
And you're mostly in a hotel room and you're mostly like gaming the whole time.
Yeah, but I meant to because I normally trade with the other people gaming at the table because there's going to be people who are like, "Oh, cool, you do a channel on that," and I'm like, "Yes, I do."
And some of them asked for some of when I was playing Dread. Some of them asked for some of the ribbons that you guys made.
Hmm.
So I was like, if I only had something to give you guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could always plan better for next year and such.
Mhm.
All right, so this pretty much just concludes Anime Los Angeles 18, just our day-by-day breakdown. And before we just kind of get into our concluding thoughts, Convention Tea is brought to you by Yemax Sweater. With Yemax Sweater, you can choose between a variety of colors of cardigans, coats, and cozy clothing for your own comfort. You can use my code YEMAC-Dame Azabel to get 40% off your total purchase at yemaxsweater.com. Again, use YEMAC-Dame Azabel to get 40% off your total order at yemaxsweater.com. Constructive criticism. So if you've seen this photo here, it's that continuation of that ribbon drop that just goes all the way down to the floor. This is how crazy ribbon culture is at Anime Los Angeles, and I actually do have a friend up north who wants to bring ribbon culture up to Fanime.
I have stuff. I can have ribbon will travel.
I have a lot of my Mabuhay ribbons for all you Pinoy boys and gals and non-binary finery out there. So, constructive criticism. Let's start with the seaside ballrooms.
A couple of different things here. One, we really need signs that, not just the big sign that has the little gap into the area that has like the little convention restaurant, and you kind of have to then wander around towards the ramp to then find the stairs to then. It should be sign to sign to sign to sign. It almost needs to be like a Tulgi would. You just need to have the sign that points to another sign that points to another sign until you finally get to where you need to go.
Like, you know, y'all anime nerds, you got your you got your pen lights, you got your glow sticks. You can just have like gophers or volunteers just kind of like just wave those lights in the direction of Seaside Ballroom. Because I actually when I found out it was in Seaside Ballroom, I was like, oh, how are they going to direct people to this area? Because if you don't know the Long Beach Convention Center, this can be a confusing area to get into. Because the easiest way to get into Seaside Ballroom is through the convention center, but the convention center closes at 7 o'clock in the evening. So like the only way to get to Seaside Ballroom is through like just descending a bunch of stairs or a stinky homeless elevator down to the Seaside Ballroom area.
It also makes leaving that area a massive pain because not all the stairs are lit.
Yeah, and just general access to the area is just not the best. I know they're working on it, and I applaud the staff people for working on it for next year, because a lot of people have been raising concern about getting in and out of Seaside, and I'm just looking forward, because it's not a bad place. It's not a bad place to have like gaming. It's not a bad place to have like other events going on there, because I generally like the Seaside Ballroom area, but we just need better access during after hours for the Seaside area. Other constructive thoughts. Rams, do you have any constructive thoughts?
I think about steal a point from Jared, but there needs to be a little bit more variety in their programming. And I think I don't know if this has to do with the fact that like they only had a limited amount of rooms, so they only have a limited amount of panels available.
Yeah, they only had like 4 live programming rooms, if I recall, and they also had that workshop room too. There were panels I wanted to check out, but because I was really busy with Masquerade and also just falling on my butt, like I wanted to check Les Claypool's Macross Plus panel. I wanted to check just some of the old school anime panels. Like, yeah, I wanted to meet just some like fellow old school people here too. But a lot of those times just really kind of conflicted with what I was doing. But you know what? I'm glad those were options. And next year I have something to look forward to. And I hope y'all can bring those panels at other conventions, because I'm always down to just check out an old school anime panel.
Because the thing is, like, the thing is, I felt like there's a lot, but there wasn't a lot also in terms of programming. Like, it felt like we were like they were stretching too thin with what they got, and I felt like that was I felt like because of the amount of like space dedicated to it, and how far apart everything is, it becomes very difficult. And Penny just said, like, it was frustrating that the panels are either one side of the con or all the way to the other side of the opposite side. Yeah.
Yes.
That's another issue that we just described also. And it's just like, you know, like I kind of want things to be a little bit more like we were kind of wish things were a little bit more central. But I think like that's my other big problem is that like everything. I kind of wish there was more things to do. But the problem is that will require things to be centralized, and if you have to do that, you kind of have to keep that dealer room open 24/7, and that's kind of difficult.
That was the thing I was kind of thinking, is that the positioning of certain rooms needs to be changed. so that we have a lot more of the panel rooms in like the main convention center area, and then secondary stuff in the Seaside Ballroom. So A, people aren't running back and forth between the two to go to panels, but B, more importantly, that when these things get cut off, if you want to do, say tabletop, e-gaming or karaoke, you go to the Seaside Ballroom, and if you want to do panels and a dance or whatever, you go to the main area. And I think something like that, because I'm just going to build off of what you're saying with how I think rearranging the rooms a little bit would really help a lot. Since I can't rearrange the building.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, unfortunately, like we're not architects. We can't do that, unfortunately.
Or
But
something they could
um,
probably do, just kind of like it just crossed my mind, is instead of Seaside Ballroom, use like ballrooms at the Hyatt Hotel or at the Renaissance.
That would also work.
yeah, it would work too. But it's like, let's just say like our hotel, like it's a great hotel. It was one of my best experiences at a hotel. But um, I wouldn't recommend that one for reasons. But I'm pretty sure there's other hotels that can accommodate that very well as well.
Mm. Let's see. I can't think of any other constructive criticism I got. I can definitely say that I'm very impressed by Masquerade's glow up. I really like how our dance turned out for a formal ball, and I thank you to everyone who attended formal ball. Like everyone on staff really appreciates you being there, and we're glad to be having this again. And I'm really looking forward to us just being together again with formal ball next year. All right. All right. Any final thoughts? And by the way, I have that Daya Mega Nesso in this photo here. Because, like,
Oh,
on the
yeah.
last day, we're like, wait, she has a giant one of those.
Yeah, I had no idea they made them that large.
They do.
Kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that I missed
Yeah,
out on
and
a Love Live meetup because, like, okay, like, because of circumstance, like, yeah, I don't mind, like, delaying our shoot. Like, we'll run into the Love Live meetup, but I like shooting with this guy. But I can always do another Love Live meetup. And you can see here that I am wearing, like, cozy saddle shoes because if I'm wearing my actual cosplay shoes, like, ouch. So there's no harm in wearing cozy shoes if you're walking around the dealer's hall. But final thoughts on Anime LA 18. What say you?
Um, I think I had a generally good time.
You say that with lack of confidence.
Yeah, well, one, programming is usually a huge deal for me, so with kind of limited programming and, of course, having to go back and forth between two buildings, I feel like I just missed out on a lot of stuff, but then when I look at the schedule, I go, oh, I guess I didn't. And I would really like either more panels or something. Secondly, as much as I appreciate the location does get a bit frustrating having the heart of the entire place being the dealer hall, and as soon as that shuts down, it's just okay. Let me get out my GPS so I can figure out how to get out of here and back to my hotel. But
Or get an abled person to escort you back.
or that, and on the other hand, I met a lot of really cool people when I did cosplay poker. I sat with two really cool people, and two people were kind of jerks, but it all ended up being good at the end. Most of the people at the table, every table I was at, were pretty chill and fun people. And at my panel, I had a very good audience number, so the attendance is really good. I hate to sound like grandpa when I'm like they're well behaved, but I mean, considering the rowdiness that used to be the reputation of this convention, people are very well behaved. They're sitting there and you know not wrecking things. They're not being crazy loud or disruptive or what have you. And I do appreciate that. I like seeing. I'm not saying we can't be a little bit immature. We're all a little bit immature at a con. I'm just saying, while being immature, do not light stuff on fire. Do not wreck your hotel room. Do not harass other people, even if it's just a joke. It just doesn't work. So I'm glad I'm seeing that level of maturity. I'm glad I met some nice people. I kind of wish I was better at keeping people's contact information. I'm really bad at that. But overall, generally a good time, just with some weirdness because of how everything is set up. I guess that makes more sense.
Ramps, what say you about ALA 18?
What to say about me? Well, like I mentioned way back when we were first starting to stream that for me, I haven't been to this convention since 2013, and I think that was my levy breaking point for anime conventions because I thought anime conventions had lost all hope. I thought like this is it. Like this is like this is where we're gonna go for the next couple of years. It's either you're there to get drunk or just be ironic and dress up as something and just be ironic. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in those 10 years. Either we kind of like got out of it, or they kind of got all out of their system, or those people just kind of like drifted away. Thankfully,
Yeah, and the new
but
people coming in are awesome.
yeah, and I think that's one of the big positives is that you mentioned earlier is that the environment was very welcoming, and the people were not being obnoxious. They were not being over. They weren't over exerting their boundaries. I remember one instance we had was when we were at the end of the panel of the Gunpla panel, and at the panel we were approached by a gentleman. He was kind of like he was being responsive during the entire panel, but it was all in good fun. He was actually being really productive and stuff like that. But he flagged us down afterwards, and any other time it's like okay, what like you might like okay, what's up this time? But like instead, it was a very different kind of thing where it's like you listen to what he had to say, and I wish this person was here to say that like this would have been a situation in like 10, 15 years ago. This would have been like, oh my god, just stop. No, like he got like it was a very polite, very like well mannered. He got to the point and everything was like, and I was to the point where I'm like, things have changed for the better. Like, and I hate to be that guy that has to say that, but like, I this convention kind of rekindled my love for like anime conventions and just like fandom in general. Like I'm starting to get to that point where it's just like at first I thought like I thought we were eternally doomed to just be like ironic like posting things and doing things, but I don't know what happened. Like we just got out of our systems one day and and people started getting their act together, and this convention is reflective of that. And I'm really happy that this new environment is very welcoming. This is kind of environment I wanted from the very beginning for a convention, and I wish more conventions would take these advice, especially with like how you treat people and how in that environment, like how you would treat people in that environment, how to make it work, especially for smaller conventions. Because I do honestly believe if you do something like that, if you have like a kind of if you have this environment now at a smaller convention, I am very sure that it's going to be like the best convention ever. I'm not here for the debauchery. I'm not here for to do whatever. I'm just here to chill with my friends, do a couple of things, and that's it. I wish there was more things they can do. I wish there was more things that I like. I wish the gaming stuff was like in a separate room so I can be playing games as well. And I wish there was like other things I can do as well. But unfortunately, thanks to how the convention center is laid out, that's the pipe dream. Unfortunately, so for me, it's like it was one of my this was one of the best experiences I had at an anime convention in a very, very long time, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy to whoever is running things now at this convention. If they're listening, props to you. Please keep this up. Like going back one last thing before I stop rambling here. Going back to going back to constructive criticism is like 4-day con is fine, but this is the kind of convention that needs just 3 days. We don't need 4 days.
Mm.
That's my only complaint.
Got it. So for me, my final thoughts on this convention, like, I'm really enjoying this convention. I like the Long Beach location. Yeah, there can be some adjustments here and there with the layout, but I always appreciate, okay, at least you tried it the first time. Okay, next time let's make it better. I like the way that how the dealer's hall was laid out. I always like seeing all the artists that come out here. We even had dealers from the Midwest out here that usually don't show up
Yes.
here, and I actually bought a couple of Tabaxi pins from them. Like, oh my god, I need a Tabaxi Druid, I need a Tabaxi Rogue, I need a Tabaxi Monk. Like, let me get all your Tabaxi pins. And they were also giving away like a ton of ribbons. Like, yeah, buy spend X amount, get this ribbon, get something cat related, get this ribbon. And I also bought, like, I'm a collector of pins, so I got a couple of pins from Artist Alley. Every convention I go to, I had to find a matching pair of Ningguang and Beidou pins for my upcoming Ida bag. So I got myself some acrylic keychains of them. So I always appreciate seeing the artists that come out here. I appreciate seeing the dealers that come out here. I really like the vibe of the Genshin meetup. I think I was like the oldest one there, but people were very nice and very welcoming. Even the Loop on the Third group that I ran into after, I was like, yeah, we wish you could have joined us. Like, yeah, I wish I could too. But most of all, my main takeaway was just getting back into Masquerade again, getting constructive feedback, getting people like on the last day just come up to me and like, I really liked your skit, we really liked your skit. I'm like, I remember you were really funny. I'm like, thank you. And just getting those compliments just like on the last, like, yeah, I, even though I didn't place, I already felt like I won something, whatever that was. But I won the hearts of the audience, and that's
People's
always
champ.
that's always what mattered to me the most. Did I make the audience laugh? Did I have fun on stage? And that's a win for me. But you know what? I'm looking forward to Anime Boston, where I return in the Master Circle, and we're gonna make it amazing because I got my fabric. I'm ready to roll, and yeah, let's go. Overall,
I'm just imagining you right now with the Ultimate Warrior thing going, just running down running down from backstage into the to the final, and just start shaking the imaginary ring, the imaginary ropes.
that'd be awesome. Let's see. But overall, ALA 18, definitely looking forward to next year. Definitely looking forward to helping out more because I really like my staff. I really like being part of programming. Malachi, you are amazing. Shout out to you. Our roommate, Penny Docs. Hope you're still in the chat. You're awesome. Hope we can all room again and make more memories together again.
Yeah,
Glad we've met you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, dude, you were like the coolest. You were the coolest roommate ever. Like seriously, like 10 out of 10 person. You were showing us all the cool things. We were talking so much. I cannot stress enough. Like you were another big pillar of us having a great time. Cause like it was so great to have you as a roommate, and just like hanging out with you was so good.
All right. If there's nothing more left to say, I think we can definitely conclude our report, our convention tea on Anime Los Angeles 18. And here's a picture of you getting sprouts at the end of the convention. Some person, how I understand, gave you like sprout thingies.
Yeah, after just giving directions.
Like, we were literally just on our way back to the car and just ready to roll out. And like, oh, by the way, here's some sprouts.
I want to integrate her into like a tabletop thing I do, or just some random sprout lady. Just because I used to give away, in my missions, I'd oftentimes give away little wooden statues of the various gods for whatever temple or town you were working for. And I love the idea of just someone doing a minor easy side quest and then just, boop. It's like all you get's a little sprout.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically this lady walked up to me, and then like she was asking, hey, where's the artist alley? It's like, oh, I told her like, oh, the artist alley is in the main hall. You keep going straight, and you cannot miss it. And it's like, oh, thank you so much. Here, take this. I'm like,
Yeah, everyone's just kind of looking at each other, going, oh, okay, cool.
it's little things like that made this convention so awesome.
Mm-hmm. And also running into the same guy that we ran into on the way back up to our car. The guy with the Anaheim Electronics shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and he had like a whole bag full of Gunpla. I was like, oh, I see you got the new Gundam. Like, and they're like, hey, it's you again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, that concludes Convention Tea Anime Los Angeles 18. This is Jay, Rams, and Scarlett telling you, remember, the con is what you make of it. So make it a good one. We'll see you at the next convention, and that is Chex Notes WonderCon. Okay.
Woo! I love WonderCon.
All right.